You've been here 2 years.
Yes, so this would be the main problem room.
Yeah, with mould growing on the wall
this
there.
has always had, you can see the black speckled mould has been on this wall since we've moved in, really.
Yeah.
The landlord got it treated. When they came and treated it must have been over a year ago, they stripped the wallpaper off, treated the wall, and then we were due to get it painted again, but we had never got around to getting that done.
Because it's been damp the whole time, essentially.
So yeah, it always looks like this. It's sort of, from the photographs we sent you, it's actually dried up a little bit. You can see this section's drier because the weather's improved. We think it's weather related, but
you can see it's pretty much around the bed head. It's
I don't know why it's done that today.
well, I think I do.
Normally it's up towards the top.
All the way up.
All the way. There's a weird, if I can just, there's a weird section here that doesn't get damp, but it sort of goes around like a C here, and then it's all the way down.
Okay, right. So, do you have any data loggers? Have you?
Yes.
Okay. What it will do is, I can see it's over there. We'll start with the data loggers, calibrating them, and then we'll get a lot of data from there. I'll ask you to send those to me now, and then on next Thursday. Are you around to do it then?
I can't do a Thursday, but I can do any other day.
Okay.
My other daughter's here, so it'll be two. I'd have two.
Well, it can be in the evening though, Thursday evening. It only takes a few minutes.
That could work, yeah.
Okay, good. So this is the second bedroom.
Yeah.
And obviously damp as well. You can actually smell it. It's and if you look here, it's around the window here, and you can see the double glazing. There's dampness around the double glazing in all those zones. We'll look through a thermal imaging camera shortly, and then at the data with the data loggers. This is looking through a thermal imaging camera at the first main bedroom. You'll notice how the dampness is around the base of the headboard, exactly the same shape as the headboard, and that's because the lack of airflow is causing heat loss. So just to explain, surface relative humidity is a function of both the amount of vapour in air, that is the dew point, and the temperature. As the dew point gets close to the temperature, or the temperature gets close to the dew point, so you move towards 100%. Mould will grow at 85% relative humidity, but over long periods of time. It tends to be about 3 degrees centigrade above the dew point, whereas condensation takes place at 100% relative humidity, and that's what we have here. So here we have 10.5 degrees centigrade. And you'll notice that the condensation is forming on this window. So the base of this window is 11.3. So the dew point internally must be above 11.3, and you're getting condensation. No big surprise. So the three elements that we need to deal with: airflow, vapour, and then at another stage think about insulation. And there are a number of products that I'll be discussing. So there's mould growing in above the staircase, and dampness as well.
And the light does have an extractor fan, but it's I wouldn't say it's very, it takes a lot of moisture out.
I'll test it out, I'll work on it, I'll improve it as much as I can.
Yeah.
There's a bit of dampness up there.
Yeah.
That's mouldy as well.
Yeah, this is,
and then
the only thing I can think of is it's the exterior wall.
Well, it is, but that's because the exterior wall's getting cold. It's the flanking wall.
And we noticed this the other day as well.
Yeah. Okay, it's all easily solvable.
Great.
So I'll get to work. To calibrate the data logger, it takes about 20 minutes, half an hour. Then I'll need to get you to update them on your smartphone.
Yep.
Have you? And
Yep.
then send them to me, and then obviously send a new lot next week.
Right.
I'm going to look at all the improvements that I can make,
Okay.
and then we're going to sit together and we're going to go through the next steps
Okay,
to
great.
solving it. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
So now we're looking for a data logger, which is somewhere around here, but who knows where. So I'm finding and collecting the data loggers and putting them in the calibration unit, which is simply salt in this case. I'm going to call this the kitchen downstairs because I'm going to move it. I really want one by the dampest wall and one by a source of vapour, the closest source of vapour, which is really the kitchen in this case. I'm going to close it up. I might as well be consistent, be that way up, and leave that for about 20 minutes, half an hour. So, although I don't need a damp meter to know whether a wall is damp or not, it's useful to get data because it helps people know that a wall is drying out. So what I suggest is you mark one place that's 100, maybe mark that, and then just see how it improves over time. It can take 6 to 9 months to dry a wall out. And this is all obviously all damp, as you would expect. And once again, no surprise, it's damp. We can tell a damp wall by looking at it, but it's really more a dry meter, and that's what I use it for. The reason I like this damp meter, it's so inexpensive that anyone can buy them, and I would say, oh look, there's water there, condensation. If anyone doesn't believe that dampness isn't caused by condensation mainly, then look at that. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't look too bad apart from this zone here. But it's obviously losing a lot of heat. There's a short, So there's a short overrun on the extractor fan. We'll solve that. That's an easy one. Easy win. And what we're going to do is we're just going to measure that. That's running about 7, so we can probably double that to about 15. Let's do it. So with this fan, there's no isolator, so I have to just be a little bit careful. Don't want to electrocute myself. Good tip is to put the plug in the hole in case one of the screws comes out. So just unscrew it. So we're inside. I'm going to take it away from the wall just because then it'll be easier to clean it, but it's a bit dusty, it's not too bad. And I'm going to just change that. Do you see? There you go. Change it to half an hour. So just okay, just all the way around. Be careful not to overdo it. Number of fans that I've damaged. I have to give the money back when I do that. I've now unscrewed it, taking it away from the wall, and I'm just going to take this off. It pulls, and then you can take the plastic off from the centre and clean it. And it's literally as easy as that. That will need cleaning as well. So I'm just cleaning it by just using my fingers to pull that dirt off, and then I'll use loo paper to give it an extra clean. So the kitchen fan has never worked. Let's see that. Okay, well I'll just see if I can improve it. So this is the kitchen fan, and it's running fine. It's more than 30 litres a second, so that's great. bathroom fan has been painted up. That could be part of the problem. I'll give them a good clean, and yeah, that will solve a lot. So with these, I've taken obviously one out, but you can just gently bend them up and take them out, and you'll notice that no one has taken out the top section. So it just can be broken out, and that increases airflow, so that you're actually getting some air out of the top and also the bottom. That's going to be a bit harder. That's now improved, and now just clean these by hand as before. So we're going to give it a bit of a clean. You'll see that this is a metal dart, which is marginally better than a plastic one, but what we're going to do is we're going to just lengthen it to reduce all of this rigid section, and it will increase airflow. We're simply going to pull this apart. And then cut it. Well, if you have a knife, great. Otherwise, it's damaged here anyway, so I'm just going to use this to break it, essentially. There we go, that's all we need. We'll put that behind there, and it's just a bit of rigid dope to stop moisture from filling up the wall, and that will speed up the airflow. The dirt around here we're just going to clean up. Nothing major, but why not? We're going to clean the cover as well, just every little bit helps. Notice it's a bit noisy, and that may be because I've screwed it in too tight, so I'm just going to loosen the screws and just see if that improves it, because tenants won't thank you for a noisy fan. There we go. So we're immediately 15.3. We're above the 15 anyway. Perfect. That's so simple. Took 5-10 minutes. Interesting trickle vent here. It doesn't go out. Although the trickle vent's open, it's just going. It's not open on the outside.
Those two walls are, if you touch them,
Saturated, yeah. But when it's raining outside, what do you do for drying clothes? Do you
have a tumble dryer?
I have a tumble dryer, which is this one here.
We don't dry clothes in here, we just use that.
Perfect, good. I think I saw you had a dehumidifier upstairs.
Yeah, we've got one there as
well. Well, you got two then, do you? Okay. So this is it's relatively small then.
Yeah, I left it. We've been running them running them during the day.
And it says 12 litres on it.
If you have a look at.
So it's just making sure that the vent is coming out of the dryer. Yeah, it seems to be fine. So the porch gets quite damp.
It's only damp whenever it is bad weather or it rains.
When it rains, yeah.
I think.
Well, that's because the humidity gets much higher when it rains. So when you use the vent, you're replacing internal air with external air. If it's raining, then you're going to get a lot more vapour in. So that's why you tend to get it during that. I mean,
the door leaks as well.
But to some degree, that's a good thing because it's draft. Yeah. So here we have the mould down at the base of the wall, and I'm just going to check with the damp meter. I'm going to encourage you to get one of these so you know how the wall is drying out. It's not too damp, but obviously dampness descends through gravity, so it's going to be worse at the base, and it's cold at the base. And behind the sofa. Can I move the sofa out a little bit?
Yeah.
Because there may be. Yeah. Well, it'd be good to have just a little bit of a gap behind the sofa and just leave it like that, if that's okay. And then we're just going to have a look there. So the bathroom extractor fan was running at a fraction of the speed it should have been running at, and was because it was dirty and it had an inappropriate ducting inside it, and also the backflow shutters outside were partially blocked up. So I've sorted all of that out, and I've given it a half-hour overrun, which it should have. So now the bathroom should be working properly. The kitchen extractor fan is working well, despite your reservations. It is working well.
Okay.
But I imagine that it's because you're within an open plan kitchen living room, and clearly it's going to be noisy. I can imagine it's hard to use it. But do you mind just doing it until we got this sorted out? And cook with tops on pots and pans, reduces vapour by about 80%. Close your drying through the dryer, which is great. You've got 2 modest size dehumidifiers, but I want you to run them 24/7 until this is all sorted out.
Wouldn't be running them at the night because of the little one.
What
the
noise is it?
Yeah.
But you can have it downstairs though, can't you?
Downstairs can potentially run at the night, yeah.
Well, we have one. We run it 24/7, but it's a much higher capacity than yours. So you've got two half capacities. So if you run it, so I'd run it in your bedroom. Well, I mean, if you can run it in your bedroom.
We tend to run it. When I come down in the morning, it's on from about 8 o'clock, and then it's on until bedtime. So it is running a good 12 hours at least.
Okay.
If I'm in the house, obviously, if I go out, I have to turn it off because I don't want it to set itself on fire or anything.
Well, it's the same technology as a fridge. So if you're happy to leave the fridge on, then I think you should be just as happy. It's all it is a coolant and a pump.
Okay.
So if you're happy with the fridge to be left on, then I think you should be happy for a dehumidifier. And when you're away, it's really important to keep it running and draining into. I mean, when Putin went to war, I had 3 dehumidifiers running permanently rather than use oil or gas. Anyway, so I want you to do 3 things anyway. Make sure to keep the bathroom door closed at all times.
Yeah, it tends to be locked.
Yeah. Well, yeah, okay, but when so keep the bathroom door closed.
So I'm just writing this down.
Use the. I'll send you a thing anyway, but. Use the bathroom extractor fan and run the dehumidifier, 2 of them. If you can run 2 of them 24/7, great, but if you have to move, have one off. But I think it would be wise to get the back bedroom sorted out first, so that you've got a room to move into, because one of the problems is you're all in the same room and you're all breathing. I mean, of course, but between the 4 of you, you're probably producing about 1.5 litres of vapour at night, and there's no trickle vents, there's no ventilation up there. It would be good to crack open the window, but it's not for me to say that, but it would be good. It is okay. But I'm going to. There's a fan upstairs, and I'm going to point it towards the wall, and run a dehumidifier and get rid of the water in that wall. It's all vapour that you're looking at. It's all internal, and get that one sorted out. It should. I mean, so yesterday I was telling somebody that it would take 6 to 9 months, but that was at the base of the wall. When it's higher up, it's much quicker because it disperses more rapidly. So it should go away much more rapidly. But it may. I'm going to recommend you get a simple damp meter. I'll show it to you, but it will give you early confidence that everything's working, because it's one of these. I'll put a link on it, and you want to put it onto the masonry level, and it will give you confidence if you log it weekly. Give you confidence that it's drying out. And what you want to use is HG mould spray to get rid of the mould. You may need a few goes at it because it's obviously there's a lot of it and it's bedded. The thing about mould is once it starts growing, you, unfortunately, like anyone, but you just have to keep on top of it with the anti-mould spray. The bleach is the active ingredient, I mean, obviously you won't want to do it with the baby in the bedroom, in that bedroom at that moment. But once it's on the wall, it will do its stuff, and you don't need to worry about it. But do follow directions. You know, you wouldn't want to be spraying it in the room with the baby there, is what I'm trying to say. But I would, I'm going to put the fan on the dehumidifier in that bedroom.
Okay.
But we'll keep the data log on the front bedroom and in the kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yep.
And I'll send you more details in a week's... Well, so I'm going to send you a follow-up now, which will just repeat what I've just said. And then I'll send you some more directions once I've had a look at the data loggers, and I'll then put a film up with it. And the directions will actually be in the details on the film.
Yeah. Okay. It seemed there was something leaking because when it's raining and heavy, the walls sluggish.
So a question I get asked all the time, that why is it wetter when it's raining outside? And that is because the external relative humidity is higher. So any ventilation you're using is blowing indoor air out, and it's replacing the indoor air with external air, and the external air has a lot more vapour in it when it's raining, because the relative humidity is 100% normally. It can be slightly less, but it's also, it tends to be warmer as well. So warmer, wetter air has much higher dew point, much more vapour. I'm going to be talking to you, well, I might as well talk to you now about it actually. Dew point is really critical. The dew point, if you look at your phone now, if you can, not easy to do, you'll see on the data loggers it says the dew point.
Oh yeah, I did see
so the dew point, I'll just have a look.
Oh yeah.
So the dew point is 11 degrees centigrade. You want to keep the dew point below the outside temperature at all times. Otherwise you run a risk of mould and condensation. And you do that by increasing the use of ventilation and dehumidification.
Okay.
Mould only grows when relative humidity goes above 85% for a long period of time. Relative humidity is a function of both temperature and the amount of vapour in air, which can be expressed as the dew point. It's a percentage of air's capacity to hold moisture. At 100%, it can't hold any more vapour, and it comes out as condensation, and that's called the dew point. So in the summertime, when it's really warm during the day, you get big build-up of humidity from evaporation from the seas and ponds and lakes and so on. And then at night, when it gets cold, because the sun's the other side of the world, the temperature of the grass goes below the dew point, and you get dew on the ground outside. So mould grows where relative humidity goes above 85%, but for a long period of time. So certain moulds have different requirements, but a standard black mould it's about 6 to 8 hours of high long-term humidity. So it's a function of excess vapour and heat loss, but the primary one is excess vapour. And if you bring the dew point down to outside, if you had perfect ventilation, the internal vapour would be identical to the outdoor vapour, which could never be above the outdoor temperature because it would rain. But you don't want to over ventilate a property because it's expensive, but you need to provide sufficient ventilation. And I think a lot of the the improvement I made to the bathroom is going to go a long way. Using the kitchen extractor fan is going to go a long way, and running the dehumidifiers, and then again, and make sure to have the bathroom door closed. I should have added. The other things, I will look at the trickle vents, and I would have a bit of airflow on that wall, so move the bed a bit away from the wall. Keep things away from the wall, because what happens, there's no heating on that wall, so you're getting poor distribution of air, hot air.
Yeah, the heat doesn't seem upstairs, because the readers are near the window, it doesn't seem to be as warm as it is
Yeah,
now.
but you want to keep objects away so that the air can flow in behind. But I'm going to put a fan on the back bedroom now. The issues, I would probably line it with thermal lining paper. This is called wool rock. And it's relatively inexpensive, and it will give you a few additional degrees. The only thing is with young fingers, can push into it and damage it a bit, but you just have to discourage. And I'll do the external flank wall. It'll need a decorator to do it properly.
Yeah, I think if you recommend that,
Yeah,
I'm sure
I will
she'll be
do.
interested.
So when you get mould, it means you get excess vapour. When you get excess vapour, you have a risk of getting dust mites, which can cause allergies. It's the dust mites you need to be worried about. Right. So I would be turning bedclothes down, turning pillows over, washing sheets weekly, turning the mattress weekly, until you've had a long period of low vapour levels. And I would also vacuum around the edges, all the edges, as much as possible. The data loggers, and there's this AI generated site called damp.ai/detect, which I made just for this type of situation. And I bring in your data loggers like this, upload it, and choose the main bedroom as the damp wall and the vapor source, the kitchen, which I actually only moved that from the second bedroom to the kitchen during the survey. And the temperature of the wall was 8.8 at the time of the survey. It was 2 p.m. on the 17th, and here we go. So this is the surface relative humidity graphed over time. So the relative humidity is on the right hand side, the temperatures on the left hand side. So the lower part of the graph, it relates to temperature, and the top part of the graph is relative humidity, but this is called surface relative humidity. So that's the relative humidity of the surface based on the temperature at the time of the survey. But so it's illustrative but accurate. So when you don't see it here, it's because it's hit 100%. We had a drop here, but which is great. But there was a big increase in temperature, which has brought down the relative humidity, because relative humidity is air's capacity to hold moisture. The warmer it is, the more moisture you can hold. So at that point, it went from being 100% down to 55%, and that's because of the increase in temperature. So that's a very good illustration of why heat causes relative humidity to come down, and conversely why coldness causes it to go up. If we look at before the 17th, this line here is what's called the dew point differential line. It's the difference between the vapor in one set of data loggers, so in this case the second bedroom, compared to the main bedroom. And you can see there's a lot more vapor being generated in the main bedroom, and that's obviously that's from family respiration. I think there were either 3 or 4 of you in the room and no one in the second bedroom, and so it's entirely to do with respiration. From this point onwards, I moved the data logger to the kitchen so I could see what was happening there. And it's picking up the vapor in the kitchen, which is open plan, and the bathroom. And we notice that, and when the spiking downwards, it's because there's greater vapor in the kitchen relative to the main bedroom. And we notice when it spikes downwards, there's soon afterwards an increase in vapor outside, or sorry, in the bedroom, should I say. And we can see it's happening all the time. This spike here is preceded by a downward spike in the vapor levels. That suggests to me that the kitchen extractor fan is not being used. I'm guessing it's noisy and it's open plan and people don't want to hear it. But you can always cook with tops on pots and pans that will reduce vapor by about 80%. And I'm guessing the bathroom door isn't being kept closed, and it can be difficult persuading everyone to do that. but it's in your interest because the lower your vapor levels, the better the insulation properties of that bedroom wall is, so the warmer you're going to feel. Also, the drier the air in winter, the less heat you need, the warmer you feel. So it's a win-win. You need to have the dehumidifier running, you need to use the kitchen extractor fan, you need to use the bathroom extractor fan, keep the bathroom door closed, dry clothes with a dehumidifier running and the door closed in that room. I put the fan on in the second bedroom to speed up the drying of the wall, and I would encourage you to move objects away from the damp wall in the main room as well. The final message is this, that this is the dew point and you need to keep that dew point below the outside temperature. Dew point is a measure of the amount of vapor in air as well as being the temperature where condensation takes place. If you had perfect ventilation, you would be replacing the indoor air with indoor vapor from living with outdoor air with outdoor vapor, and this line here would drop all the way down to there. Well, you don't have to be completely perfect ventilation. You just need to bring that line down to this, the external temperature, and then you'll remove the risk of condensation and mold, and you'll feel much warmer, drier, and you'll be able to reduce your energy consumption and reduce your carbon footprint. Win-win for everyone.